Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Iri Vadadhaji Gopi Jana Ballabha Iri Vadadhaji Yasodanandana Brajachana Ranjaguna Yasodanandana Brajachana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Banachari Yamuna Tera Banachari Jai Hurad Madhuva Kunabikati Jai Hurad Madhava Kunabikati Gopi Jana Pallava Iri Padadhare Gopi Jana Pallava Iri Padadhare Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Banachare Yamuna Tera Banachare Jayarad Umadhova Kunabikhahote Jayarad Umadhova Kunabikhahote Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya also Tada Sutashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanara Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anandakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shidahida Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopa Gopinath Sayam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Maturnam Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Shibani Lasidevi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bom. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavati Pashacha Deja Tarni. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 43rd chapter, text 25. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Uttananena Anitantam Chakravatash Cha Danavaha Arjuna Guyaka Keshi Denuko Anye Cha Tad Vidha Uttananena Nitantam Chakravatas Chadanavaha Arjuna Guyaka Keshi Denukonye Jatadvida Bhutananena Nitantam Chakravatas Jadanava Arjuna Guyaka Keshi Denukonye Jatadvita Bhutananena Nitantam Chakravatas Jadanava Arjuna Guyaka Keshi Denukonye Jatadvita Okay. Putana, the witch Putana. Anena, by him. Nita, brought. Antam, to her end. Chakravata, whirlwind. Cha, and. Danava, the demon. Arjuna, the twin Arjuna trees. Guyaka, the demon Shankachuta. Keshi, the horse demon. Keshi. Denuka, the jackass demon. Denuka. Anye, others. Cha, and. Tatvida, like them. So, translation, he made Putana and the whirlwind demon meet with death, pulled down the twin Arjuna trees, and killed Shankachuta, Keshi, Denuka, and similar demons. See, repeat, he made Putana and the whirlwind demon meet with death, pulled down the twin Arjuna trees, and killed Shankachuta, Keshi Denuka, and similar demons. So there's no purport by the followers of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has a one sentence purport. Jiva Goswami has one sentence purport, and Sanatana Goswami has one sentence purport. So, anyway, we'll read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Krishna killed many demons such as Shankachuta, Guyaka. So it's basically they're just repeating what's there in the verse. And Jiva Goswami and Sanatana Goswami say the same thing. Antam means destruction. So we're going to the next verse. Because I'm not going to be prouder than Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Goswami Thakur. So text 26 to 27. Gavachapala ketena Navagne parimochita Kaliyo damita sarpa Indrascha vimadakpita Saptaham ekahastena Dritodri pravarona Varshavata shanikpyascha Paritratam to Gokulam. He saved the cows and the cowards from a forest fire and subdued the serpent Kaliya. He removed Lord Indra's false pride by holding up the best of mountains with one hand for an entire week, thus protecting the inhabitants of Gokula from rain, wind, and hail. And Jiva Goswami has a commentary for this particular verse or verses. Sarpa means a creature that moves here and there. Sarpati. He was able to control the snake by dancing on its heads. That snake was famous as Kaliya, having great poison. The method of destroying Indra's pride is described. He held up the mountain for 7 days with one hand. The first cha indicates that he protected them from rain, wind, hail, etc. The second cha indicates that he protected Gokula and performed other related acts, such as being enthroned as the king of the cows. That's Govinda. Okay. So, comment on that and see if we can comment on that, those two verses, and then we can see if we want to move ahead after that. So, Om Gana Timidanda Shah Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigadaveda Maha. So there's one very unique thing that I was thinking about in terms of these demons that he killed in Vrindavan, and compared to the demons he killed outside of Vrindavan. What is the unique thing? Does anyone think of it? Any brilliant scholars here? Okay, since you can't answer that one. So the one unique thing is that the demons in Vrindavan were actually all cursed by sages or by great personalities. So in other words, they were like kings, and I'm going to go through a few of them in a second. They were like kings or other sages who made big mistakes, and they got cursed by a sage. They're just like we have, because Banana Kulava and Manigriva. They weren't actually demons. They had some respectable position, and even Shankachuta, he was an associate of Kuvera. He had some respectable position, and he was cursed. And those are the demons in Vrindavan in general. There may be an exception to that. And the demons outside of Vrindavan, for example, let's take Kamsa, for example, who's the Adi demon outside of Vrindavan, the original Mathura demon. He was Kalanemi. He was actually a demon. You understand? He's actually a demon. And not only was he a demon, he got killed previously. Kalanemi. He got killed by Vishnu previously. And then you have this whole battlefield of Kurukshetra, which basically was arranged by Krishna because all these demons, according to the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, all these demons, having been conquered by the demigods and Krishna, took shelter of the earth planet and took birth in Kshatriya families. So they were actually like real demons. You understand? Demons. Where the ones in Vrindavan, yes, they acted demoniacally. I mean, like Manigriva and Nalakuvara, of course, they didn't act demonically in Vrindavan. They acted demoniacally in the Bandakini Kanjis, but they acted demoniacally in some way or other. And then they got special mercy, like Putana, for example. And, Putana was not, I mean, her previous life, yes, she was the sister or the cousin or whatever of Bali Maharaj or daughter of Bali Maharaj. Garga Samhita says she was the daughter of Bali Maharaj, and in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana it says that she was the sister of Bali Maharaj. But anyway, she became attracted to Lord Vamanadeva, and as a result, she wanted to have him as a son. And when she saw what Lord Vamanadeva did to her brother or to her father, she thought, I want to kill him too. Mixed. So, in essence, and of course she went back to Godhead. So these are very, very special demons in Vrindavan compared to the demons outside of Vrindavan that Krishna killed, like Kalyavana and all these other personalities. Well, of course, Krishna didn't kill Kalyavana. Kalyavana was killed by Muchukunda. So, anyway, so let's talk about the demons. This is one of my favorite topics because to me, demons are probably a lot more interesting than devotees. So, anyway, because I like the ghastly ras and the anger and all those other, and also humor, because demons are quite humorous too. They're humorous, isn't it? They're very humorous personalities. No, they're quite interesting. Like some of them have many heads. Kalia, just see a demon. He looks quite unusual. I'd probably just start laughing at him. So anyway, so let's talk about the demons that are mentioned here. So first of all, is Putana, and Putana, of course, for those of you who don't know the story, she tried to kill Krishna when Krishna was a little baby, and she tried to give Krishna her poisoned breast, and Krishna sucked out her life from the breast and killed her. And because she had that affinity towards Krishna as a mother, then she got a chance to be Krishna's mother in the spiritual world, in the maternal affection in the spiritual world. So not only was she not just like a regular old demon, but she and the demons in Vrindavan, in spite of being, in addition to not being regular old demons, they actually represent anarthas, according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Uh, and he gives an extensive study of the anarthas, and it's commented on by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, so it's quite bona fide. So these demons in Vrindavan indicate barriers or anarthas that we have to deal with in order to become Krishna conscious. So, for example, Putana, she represents the pseudo guru. Of course, you may say, uh, I don't have a problem with pseudo gurus. I have Prabhupada. But we do have a problem with pseudo gurus. We have a real problem with a pseudo guru. Who is a pseudo guru we have a problem with anyway? Not Mother Omelette. Who? What? Who? Our minds. Because our minds tell us so many things. Like we may read the Jaiva Dharma and hear about how these great devotees, like Vijay Kumar, he became a gopi and things like that, and we think, oh, that's me. That's a pseudo guru right there. I have that same relationship. I am transcendental, even though I am subject to so many difficulties like lust, anger, greed, but still, I'm a gopi. So the guru is preaching to us. Our mind is preaching to us. So it's not just other people. Like they say, I've seen the enemy, and the enemy is us. Internally, like that. So, anyway, so Putana represents the pseudo guru, and we mentioned her history, how she became Putana, and then also the whirlwind demon is mentioned in these verses. The whirlwind demon, of course, that's Trina Varta. And the story is, for those of you who don't know the story, is that when Krishna was a little baby, he carried Krishna high in the air to try to kill Krishna. And then Krishna made himself extremely heavy, because he could be heavier than the heaviest or lighter than the lightest. And Trinavarta fell to the ground and died. So Trinavarta, I like this demon a lot, because he represents someone who's full of hot air. Sorry about that. False scholarship. Maya Prita Jnana. Something like, I guess we can equate the evolutionists, people who believe in evolution, to be like Trinavarta demons. Because actually, I do a lot of study on this particular subject matter, because I'm interested in proving, as Prabhupada wanted us to prove, that life comes from life. Life doesn't come from matter. So one interesting one of these hot air people did, and I forgot. I think his name was Kumt, but anyway, he said it. He said it's an axiom. This is really a lot of hot air. It's an axiom that life comes from natural causes. Natural causes in this world. So he established that as an act. For those of you who don't know what an axiom is, that means something that is obvious that you don't have to prove. You understand? Something you don't have to prove. So because he established that, and the materialists, they base their uh, understanding without questioning the axiom, even though all evidence is disproves this particular axiom. But because it's an axiom, you can't really get into proof or disproof, isn't it? So that's like, also it's called a knowledge filter. This is something you might Godbrother came up with. He called it a knowledge filter, that even though you have evidence that contradicts your particular philosophy, you don't accept it because that evidence contradicts your particular philosophy. It's interesting, isn't it? It's pretty circular, isn't it? This evidence contradicts my particular point of view, but I don't accept the evidence because it contradicts my particular point of view. That's called the knowledge filter. Anyway, so that's Trinavarta. Uh, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it false pride arising from material scholarship, which gives rise to bogus philosophies. What's called? Bias confirmation. So, anyway, and according to the Brahmavaivarta Purana, in his last life, he was a king. As I mentioned before, he wasn't just a demon. He was king of Panjadesh, and he was named Sahasraksha. And he had a problem. He wasn't a demon, but he just did something that was kind of nasty. He appeared naked before Durvasa Muni. You definitely don't want to appear naked before Durvasa Muni because he has a bad temper. I mean, don't appear naked before me, but I won't curse you if you do. But Durvasa Muni cursed him uh, to live on the earth for 100. He was enjoying with his 1,000 wives. Sounds like a rainbow festival. You know, and he was cursed to live on earth for 100,000 years and then be killed by Lord Krishna. So before Krishna killed him, before he attempted to kill Krishna, he was there for 100,000 years. Yeah, you begin to really repent after a few thousand years. But 100,000? Time passes really slowly, especially like in the case of Manigriva and Nalakuva, who are trees. That's time goes really slowly when you're trees for a long period of time. What a punishment, isn't it? According to the Constitution of the United States, that would be considered cruel and unusual punishment. But he learned his lesson. And so Kaliya, and we also are subject to Kaliya's anartha too. You know, it's cruelty. Sorry, it's spelled wrong here. And treachery. You know, when we're cruel to people, just like if we, sorry, but if people are in charge of children and they're cruel to the children, and we've seen that, that's actually a manifestation of Kaliya. And so we have to overcome this. We have to be kind. We have to be compassionate. So you take the opposite of all these. Another interesting thing about anarthas is that if you take the opposite, they're good qualities, isn't it? Like Putana, Sudaguru, you know, real guru, uh, Trinavarta, you know, a bag of hot air. I'm not saying take cold air, bag of cold air, which is the opposite. No, but you don't have pride. You're prideless, and manina manadena, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. And so then, so Kaliya, of course, everyone knows Kaliya's story. He was there in Fiji before. That's what Prabhupada said. And then he was being attacked. It was in the land of the serpents. And Kaliya ate a serpent that was meant for Garuda. Garuda tried to attack him. And then Kaliya went to the Yamuna River, where the sage Shobari Muni had actually cursed Garuda because Garuda was trying to eat his fish friends. And Kaliya poisoned the Yamuna, and Krishna had to chastise Kaliya. So Kaliya represents brutality and treachery. So then, next mention is Keshi, the horse demon. And the horse demon is also something that we are subjected to quite often. the feeling that I'm a great devotee and a spiritual master. Phew, can you imagine that? So, according to the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, in his last life, he was a person named Suparshvaka, one of the brothers of the Gandharvas. So he was a Gandharva who became uh, Palamba and Bakasura, a nice family. Also mentioned in this verse is Shankachuda, who was the conch shell demon. Hmm. And also that conch shell, yeah, the conch shell. So he represents proneness towards acquiring name and fame and desire for sensuous enjoyment under the plea of devotion. So these are all anarthas that affect devotees. Think about that. The, the desire to achieve name and fame and sensuous enjoyment. That means the tongue, belly, genitals, mind, anger, words, whatever senses we're talking about, under the plea of devotion. And then Dhanakasura is mentioned. Uh, Dhanakasura is the ass demon. Actually, is mentioned as being killed by Krishna, but actually Dhanakasura was killed by Balaram. But still, so he represents gross materialistic intelligence, ignorance of spiritual knowledge. Uh, and according to the Garga Samhita, in his previous life, he was the son of Bali Maharaj named Saha Sikor. And he offended Durvasa Muni by disturbing him when the Muni was meditating by making a lot of noise while he was enjoying with 10,000 women on Mount Ganda Madana. So Durvasa Muni cursed him to become an ass, saying, "Fool, ass-like person, become an ass. O demon, after 400,000 years of the transcendental circle of Mathura in the sacred forest of Talavan, you will attain liberation by Lord Balaram's hand." So he was an ass demon, and he was thrown up into the tree by Balaram, and Krishna threw a lot of the other ass demons up in trees. He could not be killed by Krishna because he had given his word to Prahlad Maharaj that he would not be killed by any of his family members. So there's another demon that's mentioned. Nalakuvara and Manigriva are mentioned here. They were the twin Arjun trees uh, who made the mistake of bathing naked in front of Narada Muni in the Mandakini Ganges. And the Acharyas comment that that their problem was caused by arrogant pride from puffed up aristocracy. And of course, they were related with Kuvera, who was the treasurer of the demigods. So it says, rooted in madness for wealth, desire for wealth, and attachment to wealth. And that's a big problem because we've seen when one performs devotional service and becomes very prominent in the Krishna consciousness movement or prominent in some religious society, that they get Dhanam and Janam and Sundarim. Isn't it? They get wealth, or at least the ability to utilize wealth. They get fame, and they may get so many followers, beautiful young girls. Hasn't happened to me yet, don't worry. A lot of old ladies. So this is a danger. It causes fall down. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is one of the causes of anarthas, in addition to sinful activities, pious activities, offenses, the byproducts of bhakti, madness for wealth. And so therefore they were cursed to become trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and they were liberated by Krishna. Some of the other demons that are not mentioned here are very interesting. we can go through some of them. There's the Vatsasura, the calf demon, uh, who indicates a childish type of mentality which gives rise to a type of greediness which results in a wicked type of mischievousness. So we should use these descriptions when we hear these descriptions and, point to ourselves and think, how I have all these different types of anarthas. There's Bokasura, who was the duck or stork demon, crane, who is hmm, indicated cunning, duplicity, deceptiveness, and false types of behavior. Agasura, the snake demon, cruelty and violence. Palambasura, indicating lusty inclinations, desire for gain or honor. Let's see. Aristasura, the bull demon, pride arising from indulging in false religions invented by cheaters, which cause the neglect of bhakti. And finally, here is Vyomasura, the sky demon. That means he indicates the anartha of associating with thieves and other rascals, and with people who put themselves forward as avatars. So, anyway, these are some of the demons that are mentioned here, and the residents of Mathura are remembering Krishna's activities in killing these demons. So, I think we'll end here. Any questions or comments? Yes. Y- Yeah. Oh, you mean where was she before she came to the material world? That's an interesting question. One that I don't have the answer. What's that? Um, I don't know the answer to that. All I know is that she was the sister or daughter of Bali Maharaj, and Krishna accepted her mixed devotion and purified her of the impurities. And she was very upset with Lord Vamanadev because Lord Vamanadev had taken away everything from her father or from her brother, depending on what your shastra you follow. And she said, "I may be his mother, uh, but I'll kill him." So she had this mixed desire. Now, as far as like who she was before she came to this material world, maybe Mother Irmela knows that. Yeah, that's her eternal relationship. But whether she had fully realized her eternal relationship before she came to the material world, that's a question I don't find an answer to. Yeah, she has, that's part of her nature. Yeah, that's the big if we say uh, the controversy is, how did we get to the material world? Did we, where did we come from? And of course, I accept what Prabhupada said is that we originally Krishna conscious living entities. But Prabhupada was not specific about what that meant. Whether we were Krishna conscious in Vaikuntha, whether we were aware of Krishna's pastimes but not taking part in Krishna's pastimes, or whether we were actually established in our eternal relationship and fell down from there. I mean, I don't have an answer to that one. Yeah. So that's not, we didn't, I do not know specifically how I was situated before I came to the material world. Yeah. Yeah, it was there. It was part of her nature. She realized it when she got killed by Krishna, and Krishna purified her. Yeah, yeah. Krishna purified her, which is very interesting because in the Bhagavatam we have this statement: "Akama sarvakamo va," uh, to akama sarvakama moksha kamo daradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whatever your desire you have, you should tivrena bhakti yogena perform devotional service in a very intense way. Uh, and the reason for that is that Krishna, whether you're desiring liberation or you're uh, desirous of sense gratification or you have no material desire, uh, either your consciousness is absorbed in one of those three ways, you should worship Krishna very intensely and with great devotion because Krishna will purify you of any impurities. Uh, for example, we have Dhruva Maharaj, who had basically he did have an impurity. His impurity was that he wanted a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma. But because he was doing devotional service in a very intense way, completely focused on the chanting of his mantra, he was able to become completely purified. And that's certainly Putana was doing her activities in a very intense way. She was following that particular injunction. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So, what she was doing before she came into the material world, I do not have that realization. Do you, Mother Harlan? No, no. Yeah, we have an eternal. No, what she was doing, I'm not saying what her nature is. We don't know. Yeah, yeah. There's no specific description. Yeah. It's illusory. In other words, we're an illusion. We're an illusion, and that's why we think we're in the material. Yes. So understanding that, I would say my personal opinion, understanding what Prabhupada said, was that we did not have an active relationship before, but we were Krishna conscious. Yeah, but what does that mean exactly? Yeah, I mean, were we observing the Leela or we were participating in the Leela? You know, my realization is that we somehow or that were Krishna conscious, understanding Krishna. We made a conscious decision to come down to the material world. In other words, we're responsible. We're responsible for being where we are. But we're responsible for going to sleep.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanbanda Maravindanayatakam Bhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundaram Dandar Hakom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Anganiyasakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Pavikayanti Niramdatanti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vikrasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Namaham Vishnu Daya Krishna Prasthaya Putale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Raminiti Namine Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Putale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Raminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gurvane Pacha Sesha Shunyavagade Vasyachade Satarine Gurvane Pacharine Nivasesha Shunyavagade Vasyachade Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gatada Shiva Sati Gurvata Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Shiva Sati Gaurvata Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmanitchan, Advaita, Gatada Shiva Sade, Gormak Brenda. Shri Advaita, Gatada Shiva Sade, Gormak Brenda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gatada Shiva Sade Gaurabhakta Brenda. Shri Advaita Gatada Shiva Sade Gaurabhakta. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hati Hate, Hare Rama, Hati Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare. Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. No. Rate, 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 rate. Hey, Dial Shiragat, hey, Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Aracharya, Shima, Divine Grace, Avaya Chanana, Bhaktivana, Yogi Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Jai, ISKCON, founder Acharya, Vaishnav, Vrinda Namacharya, Shilavrita, Thakur Kajai, Prim Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shidwaita Gadadha, Shiva Siddhi Gaur, Bhakta Vrinda Kajai, Shri Radhakrishna, Gopinath, Shyam Mukunda, Radhakunda, Giddy, Govardhan Kajai, Vrindavan Kajai, Machoram Kajai, Jagat Goswami Kajai, Yamunamai Kajai, Shimati Lasadev Gajai, Saveda Bhakta, Vrinda Gajai, Go. All glories, the assembled devotees, all glories, the assembled devotees, all glories, the assembled devotees, all glories. Guru and Gauranga, Srimad Bhagavatam. Shaito Darpanamarjanam, Mahatbhakini Brapanam, Shreya Kairav Vikarvika Vikaranam, Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, Nam Nam Kari Bhavjani Sarva Shakti, Satrapiyani Matasmanai Kala, Ekadasi Bhavamami, Shankari Nanagraga, Trinadapi Sunichena Turahiba Sahishrana, Amaninam Antina Kirtinaya Sadahari, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim, Kavitamba Jagadishikamaye, Mama Janmani Janmanishvare, Bhavatat Bhakti Rahitaki Chwaye, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Patitambam Vishve Bhavam Buddha, Avapada Pankajas, Dita Duli Sadrasam Vachintaya, Nayanam Galadashrudaraya, Varanam Gadgada Rudyagada, Pulaka Nichitam Vapukata, Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati, Jugayatam Nimishena, Chakshusha Pravishaitam, Shunya Govinda Vidaheda May, Ashlisha Vapadapana, Panatamam, Adarshanam Amritam Karotava, Yatadata Vavadati Lampato, Matprananatas Dusevana Paraha. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting your holy name and alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I'm your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he should remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.